Farewell service this morning, and on behalf of the family of Marjory Jordan, fondly known to you all as Betty, I thank you for coming to her ceremony. I would especially now like to welcome everyone who is attending our virtual service, and thank you for your presence and support for Betty. Live streaming has enabled us to bring family members, loved ones and friends together, regardless of our physical distance and our restricted numbers. Before we begin today, and just to remind everyone to help us not have interruptions throughout our service, if I could just kindly ask to ensure that mobile phones are now all switched to silent. Thank you. Today we gather to perform a very difficult task, both to mourn, to remember and to celebrate Betty's life. And we use the word celebration today in all of its richness. To reach 97 years old is a great distinction, and there is no one pathway to reaching such an age. And all we can do is live in whatever time span that we are given. Naturally, there are many experiences that can be learned from someone of Betty's age, with a lifetime of stories to tell. There would be many, many lessons, and of course, there would be a few regrets. All of us are now reminded that the slender thread that joins life with death can so quickly be broken, and that the grieving process which follows is a bit like a roller coaster, full of ups and downs and highs and lows. And like many roller coasters, the ride will be rougher in the beginning, and the lows will be deeper and longer. But always remember to heal in your own way and heal in your own time. I would like to open our service with the following words. The boundaries which divide life from death are difficult to judge, and who can say where one ends and then where the other begins? We do know that when plants and flowers shed seeds, and the wind and the rain carry them to another place, it is always the beginning of new life. And our hearts now reach out to those who were closest to Betty, and our thoughts are particularly with her loving husband Alan, deceased, and her daughter Marjory, also deceased. Betty was also the youngest of 8, loving sister of George, Jean, Alice, Evelyn, Tom, Ray and Dolly, all deceased. Affectionate auntie to her many nieces and nephews, fond mother-in-law of Brian, and special friend of Linda. It is also important to remember the close bond that Betty shared as the adored Mai to her grandchildren and their partners, Kimberly and Dean, Jade and Rhonda, and Brant and Christine, together with her much-loved great-grandchildren, Millicent, Dempsey, Mitchell, Ivy, Oscar and Matilda. And as well we think of all of you, everyone that is here today, and all the other people who over the years have been important in Betty's life, those that she always enjoyed having a chat with, and those whose company that she also enjoyed. And her caring ways will certainly be remembered by all of you. You are all joined to her in some way. She would be disappointed today if you did not celebrate the fact that you were privileged and honoured to have known her. Be happy that you had the opportunity to love her, to learn from her, and give thanks today for the inspiration that she has brought into all of your lives. So throughout our service, we are now going to fashion a beautiful painting of Betty's life. and her character, with poems, family memories, life symbols, prayers, and a beautiful slideshow. There will be happy thoughts, there will be sad thoughts, and there will be many, many recollections. And when you leave our service today, you will take with you a deeper understanding, much more personal picture of her. Betty will forever be tied together within her family circle, and the younger generation will no doubt carry on with some of her talents, her skills and traditions that have been passed down to them. In her memory today, a candle representing her grandchildren and great-grandchildren has been lit, symbolising hope and light in our world and in the next, with our hearts always smiling because of her and our love for her continuing to shine. The candle represents grief and the pain of loss, courage to confront your sorrow today and help comfort each other, and memories for all of the times that you have all laughed and all cried with her. The flame is alight with Betty's love continuing to now guide and lead you. To her grandchildren and great-grandchildren, Betty was fondly known as Mai. And as we all know, a grandparent is a little bit of a mum or dad, a little bit of a teacher, and always a best friend. And as a special tribute to Mai, I would now like to ask her granddaughter Kimberly to please come forward and share with you a reading chosen by the family titled Legacy of Love and listed in your order of service. Thanks, Kimberly.
A wife, a mother, our Momai too. This is a legacy we have from you. You taught us love and how to fight. You gave us strength. You gave us might. A stronger person would be hard to find, and in your heart, you were always kind. You fought for us all in one way or another, not just a wife, not just as a mother. For all of us, you gave your best. Now the time has come for you to rest. So go in peace. You've earned your sleep. Your love in our hearts will eternally keep.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. And it's not easy to stand up here today in front of you all. It's such an emotional time, and I know everyone appreciated it. And of course, for some moments in life, there are no words. And when we lose a loved one, death and grief make us all feel very uncomfortable. And although in a practical sense, Betty's no longer part of your lives, death can be regarded as simply shedding our physical bodies, like the butterfly or cicada that sheds its cocoon or outer shell, and a transition to a much higher state of consciousness. And immediately now, our thoughts turn to Betty's character and her personality. She was a gentle, kind lady with a very big heart, someone who loved life. She had a good sense of humour, was fiercely independent, and although small in stature, was strong and mighty in every way. She was a proud mum, inspirational in the devotion and care of her family. Grandchildren and great-grandchildren were always a highlight of her life. She never missed an opportunity to spend time with them. Throughout her life, she was also a very hard worker, employed at a variety of jobs included nursing, hospitality and fruit picking, always determined to make ends meet for her family. She found an inner strength and became more self-reliant, an even stronger person after the very sad loss of both her husband in 1984 and her beautiful daughter in 2007. On a personal level, she enjoyed being social, had a wide network of friends, being well known in town and esteemed in her community. She loved music, enjoyed shopping and was passionate about all sports. I'm told by the family she would sit up all night to watch the tennis, as well as follow the local and AFL football. As a younger woman, she also enjoyed playing many sports, and in later life enjoyed playing lawn bowls. She always put others before herself, and throughout her life she helped and touched many people in a very positive way. And of course, these are only some of the things you will recall when you think about Betty today. No one will fit into her shoes, but the influence of her personality, her strength and her character will always live on in the acts and thoughts of you all. And when we think more about her life, there's quite a lot to reflect upon, and her family have compiled Betty's life story to be delivered by Brant, one of Betty's grandsons, and it is now my privilege to ask him to please come forward and share it with us. Thanks, Brant.
Marjory Betty Jordan, or as affectionately known by her family as Mom, was born 30th of August 1924. Born at the family farmhouse, Osborne Park in Berrigan, mother Lillian Emily and father Charlie George Fox. Mama was the youngest of 8, sibling to George, Jean, Alice, Evelyn, Tom, Ray and Dolly. Mama's parents came from Kyneton in central Victoria to 3 miles northeast of Berrigan to clear the land, at first living in a log cabin hut until the family grew. When Mama arrived, they built a large home on the land. Mama started her schooling at Berrigan Public School, where she attended with 4 of her siblings by horse and gig. Being the youngest, she sat down the front of the gig near the horse's tail. In her later schooling years, Mama rode her horse Polly to school. On school holidays and some weekends, Mama and her family used to have their neighbours visit to play tennis and cricket. They always had a great time together, perhaps even a few arguments. After 6th class, Mama went to Finley Rural School, travelling every day by bus. Finley Rural School had 2 classes and 2 teachers. It was held in the Finley School of Arts, which is an old building in the town. Mama recalled the very cold winters in her classroom with only 1 heater. However, the teachers would allow students to have a coat and a rug to keep them warm. She undertook 3 years at Finley Rural School and passed her intermediate certificate. When Mama left school, she helped out on the farm. After this time, her 2 brothers, George and Tom, had joined the army. Mama recorded sticking hay and cutting bands on the chaff cutter, which was a very itchy job. She also milked cows and other chores Mother and Father required of her. Mama loved music and dancing and spent a lot of time going to balls with her 2 brothers, Ray and Tom, and her sister Dolly. Spending many nights dancing to the Black and White Orchestra in Shepparton. Mama and her siblings hated missing a dance, and it was nothing for her to get home at 3 o'clock in the morning. On a Sunday night, Mama and her family would have a sing-along around the piano. On occasion, the family church friends would catch up for a meal and some entertainment. Her love for music continued, where she enjoyed going to musicals in Melbourne. She always said it was money well spent. When Mama had turned 17, she applied to Epworth Hospital to train in nursing. She was accepted and almost ready to commence when a letter arrived from Manpower telling her she either had to apply for Albury or Corowa, as she resided in New South Wales. Very disappointed, however, she chose Cobram. Mama would often go home to Berrigan on the mail bus when she had 2 days off. She got quite homesick when she was living on the hospital campus, but soon got over that. She told us one of the incidents which she remembered very well. It was her first time scrub scouting in the operating theatre. She was carrying a tray of sterilising equipment from the sterilising room when she slipped on the wet floor and down she went, dropping all the sterilised instruments. She said it was so embarrassing, and then at that moment tears started to flow down her face. The procedure had to be postponed for an hour. She recalled not being very popular with the surgeons that time, but in her true style she got on with it. She often told us stories of the matron at Corowa Hospital, who often used to rouse on her because she was often laughing and having a good time. She lived every moment of life so well. After 3 years at Cobram Hospital, she was accepted at Cobram Hospital owned by Dr. Kennedy. Her sister Alice was being married, so she took her position at the hospital. She loved working in Cobram and recalls it being very different to the training hospital. Whilst working at Cobram Hospital, she met her husband Alan. Alan had been admitted for an appendectomy. After a month later, he was on leave from the army and had to return to Melbourne to get his discharge. When he came home for good, they met up again and he asked my wife to go to the pictures. It was their first outing together. She remembered the pictures so well. It was a Laurel and Hardy show. They both played a lot of sport, especially tennis and badminton, and they often played in lots of tournaments around the district. And they often took trips to Melbourne to watch VFL football games. After 2 years, Mama and Alan were married on the 23rd of April 1948 at the Berrigan Methodist Church on Easter Sunday. She'd saved enough coupons for her wedding gown. They honeymooned at Katoomba for 2 weeks at the Royal Palace Guest House and then lived in the residence at the back of the bakery where Alan worked for his cousin-in-law. 2 years later, they had their one and only child, Marjory. Mama held a variety of jobs after she had Marjory, including grape picking at Sepples. She did some home help through Cobram Shire and worked with Auntie Belle Allen at the Brugger Hotel. Mama and Alan lived in a small house on the Golf Course Road behind Brugger Pub and also in a house in Charles Street, Cobram. Later, Marjory married Brian and they had 3 children, Kimberly, Jade and myself. After a long illness, Alan passed away from leukemia on 7th of June 1984. Mama then shortly after sold her house in Brugger and moved into a flat above the butcher shop that Brian owned in Cobram for a few years before moving into independent living at Ottery Homes, where she lived very happily for over 25 years. On Mama's 60th birthday dinner at the Colonial Motel Steakhouse, as the evening proceeded, she saw a trampoline in the motel yard beside the restaurant, and next thing we saw Mama jumping on it, like a 6-year-old, not a 60-year-old woman. Another funny memory was on one Christmas day, Jade had received a skateboard from Santa. Mama decided she wanted to turn, jumped on it, pushed off and fell back onto the concrete, bounced up and said, I'm alright, and then proceeded to celebrate Christmas Day. She enjoyed all sports throughout her life, and a passion of hers in her adult life was lawn bowls. She enjoyed travelling away for bowls and was often found looking for the local bowling club where she was on holidays. Her zest for life was illustrated in all facets, including being known at having a great time. Her bowling friends often recounted memories of her jumping on a table to make a speech when she needed everyone's attention, or when the music started, she would be first on the dance floor. She may have been small in stature, but she made up for it in character. Mama loved her family. She loved her parents, her siblings, her husband, her beautiful daughter, her son-in-law, her grandchildren, and her great-grandchildren. And she hated missing out on family get-togethers. Mama loved and idolised her daughter Marjory. They had a very close and inseparable bond. Mama and her daughter Marjory were best friends. Her strength was stretched in 2007 when Marjory passed away from cancer. As her grandchildren, we spent a lot of time with Mama at her homes in Brugger and then Cobram. Mama particularly loved taking us down to fish at the creek from her house in Brugger. We could spend hours sitting by the creek and we all loved every moment of it, as did she. We also loved scratchy bats, where as kids we would lay on the couch and she would scratch our backs for hours. One memory was staying at her home in Brugger with an outside toilet. During the night, Mama would have a bright orange bucket beside the bed, which we would use to wee in, because it was too cold to go outside. And in the morning, she'd take it out, empty it, like it was just normal. Mama was very proud of her grandchildren. She would often be heard by many talking about their achievements in sport, music, their chosen occupations, and most notably, their families. She was so proud of their families that they had made and her beautiful great-grandchildren. She was always a very independent person who took control of herself. She worked extremely hard in life. She'd be the first person to give you something that she didn't have. Mama was exceptionally loved by her nieces and nephews, and she loved them equally as much. Being the youngest of her siblings, but with her radiating personality, Mama was very close to them. She loved spending time with them, and some may say she may have been a favourite, and we all know why. Whilst in respite care at Amaru Aged Care in Berrigan, it was a thrill for her to visit for lunch and a visit to her nieces and nephews at Osborne Park in Berrigan, the family home where her nephew Gordon and wife Barbara Fox now reside. In 2017, Mummy transitioned to Ottery Homes, now known as Cobram Regional Care. Mummy touched so many people's hearts, and the staff at Cobram Regional Care were many of those. During last week, the staff told us how much she was loved by them, that they loved her, full of life and fun personality, and that she put a smile on everyone's faces every day, and they would miss dancing and singing to her. The family would like to thank Tracy Gilmore and the staff at Cobram Regional Care for their care for Mummy over the past 4 years, and in particular the love and support they provided to her during her final moments. We'd also like to thank Dr. Pang. This is also a great opportunity to acknowledge the love and support which our dad provided to Mummy. This was much easier writing. As their son-in-law, he went above and beyond to ensure every need was met, not just in her final years, but throughout his time with her. Suffice to say, when he started writing this, the memories started flowing. The things that we never want to forget, the stories that she shared with us. But the highlight to us were the values that Mummy instilled, just through her presence, that we hope to instill into our families. Her infectious smile, her beautiful blue eyes, and her ability to make you feel warm and special is something we'll always remember. Her wisdom, her guidance, her strength, her unconditional love, and the zest for life were all characteristics of this beautiful role model. The night before Mummy passed, Mum's star was shining bright, and we took comfort that Mum was waiting there to welcome Mummy to heaven. Mummy, you are now reunited with Mum, Papa, your brothers and sisters, and your mother and father. We'll miss you terribly, but we take peace in the fact that you are now with Mum. I know you're probably sitting with Mum right now, possibly not getting a word in, as she hugs and cuddles you, but we can smile knowing that you are looking down on us, and that you've left us with your love and memories which will live on forever. Shine bright. We'll be looking up at night to see you and feel happy that you are our Mummy. Rest now, you deserve it after 97 years of living your fullest life. Say hi to Mum and Papa for us. Love you to bits.
Thank you so much, Brand, for sharing those wonderful memories, also in such a difficult time for you. And there is something about losing a grandmother or great-grandmother that is so hard to express. It is said they hold their grandchildren's hands for a while, but their hearts forever. A grandparent always speaks with gentleness, listens with respect, smiles from the heart, and always knows the time to be quiet. Mummy shared a special and very close relationship with her great-grandchildren, and in her honour today, I'm going to invite each of them to please come forward and place some of Mummy's favourite personal items on our memory table, all of which are listed in your order of service. So firstly, Millicent, if you can come forward with the rose and the cotton and needle. And please remain at the table. Thanks, Millicent. Two of Betty's hobbies were gardening and sewing. She would often spend hours tending to her garden, which included her beautiful roses, and mending garments for all family members. And now Dempsey, who has Betty's bowl shoes and bowler's badge. Thanks, Dempsey. Betty's passion for bowls saw her playing regular games and tournaments and fulfilling the role of Lady President at the Cobram Bowling Club. And I'll now ask Mitchell to please place the tennis racket on the memory table. Betty loved playing sport, and particularly in her younger years, she loved tennis. Sport was a huge part of her life. And now Ivy has her music sheet, if you can come forward. Thanks, Ivy. A love of Betty's was all types of music, and she also loved seeing musicals in Melbourne. She also loved playing the piano and singing, where she was a member of the Senior Citizens Choir. And now Oscar, if you could please bring forward her nursing dictionary. The nursing dictionary represents Betty's training and undertaking the role of a nurse, at both Corowa and Cobram hospitals. And finally, if I could please ask Matilda to please bring forward the family photo and place with the other symbols. Thanks, Matilda. Betty's undivided love for her family is represented in this recent family photo. She epitomised the value of family. So thank you to all the great-grandchildren. My would be immensely proud of you all today. I'm now going to ask each of the great-grandchildren to offer a special prayer for Mike and express our thanks for having known her. So if you could all please make your way over here to the lectern and microphone. Thank you.
Lord, we give thanks for the years we shared with Mama, and we thank you for the gift of a strong role model. May the faith and values she held dear be treasured and nourished by all here.
Lord, we pray for our family who Mama loves so dearly. Comfort them in their sorrow and fill the emptiness in their hearts.
Lord, remember Mama's family members who have gone before her, especially her only child Marjory and her husband Alan. May we remember her, may they welcome her into the joys of heaven.
Lord, we ask you to bless all who care for Mama, Dr. Payne and Tracy Gemmell and the staff at Cobram Regional Care. Watch over them and reward them for their loving care, kindness and compassion.
Lord, Mama touched the lives of many over her lifetime. May her wisdom, strength, unconditional love and zest for life live on in all of us gathered here today.
Lord, we thank you for Mama's family and friends. May our sharing together in times of joy and sorrow be reflected within those here today.
Thank you all so much. Please be seated. I'm sure everyone can feel the love here today. Thank you once again to all the great-grandchildren. And we're now going to take time to quietly reflect through a slideshow and give thanks for all that Betty has meant to us. The family have managed to find some special images to include as part of our service. So whilst you now listen to the reflection music and view those photos, may your affection and your respect for Betty, like the candle burning brightly, continue to shine within all of your lives.
The night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I'll always love you and make you happy. If you will only say the same. If you leave me and love another, you'll regret it all someday. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. Never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away. No, please don't take my sunshine away. Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old here, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, oh mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, all my memories gather round her. Miner's lady, stranger to blue water, dark and dusty, painted on the sky. Misty taste of moonshine, teardrop in my eye. Country roads, oh take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, oh mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, oh take me home. She calls me, the radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get a feeling I should have been home yesterday, yesterday. Country road.
Some beautiful photos there and a presentation that displayed wonderful images and memories that will remain with you all forever. And it does remind us that what you leave behind is not that which is engraved in a stone monument, but that which is woven into all of your lives. And when we lose a loved one, and it doesn't matter what age they are, none of us are prepared. And emotionally, we're not well equipped to deal with such a loss. But know that tears are not a sign of weakness. Falling apart is part of the normal grieving process. So today we have all stopped the onrush of our busy lives. We have paused to reflect upon Betty's life. She had maintained good health throughout most of her life and lived at home until she was 93 years old. She was admitted to Cobram Regional Care 4 years ago, and her health recently began to decline. She passed away there peacefully on the 25th of November, aged 97 years. As mentioned by Brant, on behalf of the family, thanks are offered to the staff there for keeping her comfortable, taking wonderful care of her, always treating her with respect, dignity and love. Special thanks also extended to the doctor that she loved, Dr. Pang, for his ongoing care and support. Everything that has a beginning has an end, and it is as natural to die as it is to be born. And for Betty, it was just her time. She's now ready for the next part of her spiritual journey, and no doubt her strength and her force will continue to guide her. And to now conclude our service here at the church, I would like to ask those who wish to please join with me in saying the Lord's Prayer. Let us pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Today we have formed a portrait of a woman who knew much and loved much. Please remember that Betty would want all of you to now live your lives to the full in her memory. And may there be comfort in knowing that someone so special to you all will not be forgotten. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That now completes this part of our service for Betty. As you know, her burial will now follow, or we'll proceed to the Cobram Cemetery, where the closing part of our service will occur. Following her burial, the family invite you to join them for refreshments and celebration at the Cobram Bowls Club, where you can continue to recall all of your memories of her. And I'm sure there's many, many more stories to be told. Thank you all once again for your attendance, your love and your support here today.
I'd like to please stand and ask for your support.
Said that bird got bad old bloke in Baruga said she just did a good job. She a local? No, they know that. It's a big bloke with the whiskers.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. I say love, it is a flower, and you, it's only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one.
Thank you all once again for coming to this ceremony today for Betty Jordan, someone very special to you all. And today we have honoured and remembered her life of 97 years. We are gathered here now to say our final goodbye to her. Betty has come to the end of her journey and leaves the world better than she found it. We have remembered her personality, character, and the ways in which she has left an indelible mark on all those she touched throughout her lifetime. And although a death in the family, with respect, all bid her farewell. And now for us, the living, may the love of all friends, hopes for the future, give us now strength and peace to all go forward together. As mentioned, after the service, the family invite you to join them for refreshments at the Cobram Bowls Club. And to now close our service, the family have selected a song by Eva Cassidy. Hopefully, when you hear this piece of music at any time in the future, you'll be reminded of Betty and all be able to smile. Thank you all once again for your love, your attendance and your support for Betty's family.
For you, there'll be no crying. For you, the sun will be shining, 'cause I feel that when I'm with you, it's alright. I know it's right. And the songbirds keep singing like they know the score. And I love you, I love you, I love you like never before.